Good morning. Just wanted to announce that the first season for the Big Country Football Book Edition is now in the Google Drive folder, BCF Book 1958. This is the first historic season rated for the book version of Big Country Football. Um, they're going to be listed in team charts, and you can, then transcribe these over to your own notebooks or whatever. Again, all the teams are rated historically for their position groups: so quarterbacks, backs, receivers, defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs, and yes, I've talked about this before. Offensive linemen are rated based on the output of the teams. I use team statistics, not individual statistics, to rate the positions. So offensive line is going to be, all told, involved in these numbers, right? And then, of course, our punter rating, place kicker, is a D20. There's a slight tweak to the rules for the book, how the place kicker works. Kick return, whether there's a chance at a touchdown; punt return, whether there's a chance at a touchdown; and interception return, whether there's a chance for a touchdown. Remember, there are no defensive fumble modifiers or things like that in the book version. So there you have it. That is the 1950. That's the first one that is finished. So place kicking, D20, 1 to 15, it's good. Doesn't matter where you're at on the field. Now, well, it does. If you're close, you get to add 1 to their range. If they're far, you subtract 2 or whatever from the range. So there is an adjustment. But if you have a plus, that means they cannot miss the PAT. So Pittsburgh, 1 to 15, they hit their field goals, but on PATs, they don't miss. That kind of thing. So that's available. But also, more importantly than this, because again, I didn't design the Big Country Football games to be historical replay games. I designed it to be a career football simulator for fictional teams and careers. However, I do have a goal of making, a myriad of professional seasons available for those who want to use it for that purpose. But introducing, more importantly, oh damn, I can't believe I just did that. Let's get over here. I don't believe I did that. Shut down the whole dang thing. Let's get in here. More importantly, this is the announcement of the world debut of Boxing Time. So, for those who know, I've made a couple of boxing games. D6 boxing, flash boxing, both card and dice, and then, of course, Big Country boxing, which is personally one of my favorite games I've ever made. But I had been toying with a time version of boxing, and so fortunately over the last month I have been able to finish Boxing Time. So this is the debut of Boxing Time. It is available for free in the downloads. Again, you create boxers, any number of boxers you want to create using random charts, and then it comes with 30 boxers, the top 10 lightweights, top 10 middleweights, top 10 heavyweights, of course fictionalized. Again, I don't endeavor to try to make accurate representation of real life boxers. I think it's I think boxing fans, boxing historians, you can certainly rate boxers. I think your guess is as good as mine as the difference between Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, right? We all know certain differences, and we all know ratings, and we all know records, and we all know what they achieved in their career. But the fine tuning of rating, the difference between Jack Johnson and I don't know, Joe Louis. I mean, it's a subtle thing. So I leave it to others to rate historic boxers. Anyway, so let's take a look at Boxing Time. So Boxing Time sticks with the time formula, which is a D6 is all you need to play, which means there's charts. It also, the time formula is you create your own teams or your own boxers, whatever, and you have the opportunity to make as many as you want to. This does not include a career mode. You're supposed to make boxers and box them to try to win the championship. You're free, of course, to come up with how you would modify them for career. So, let's take a look. Introduction, just a write-up about the game and about my feelings about boxing. and then how boxers are rated, the bag rating, etc. Then the boxer creation, we use these subtle charts. You roll for what he's born to be, and then we roll to see what natural weight class he falls into, and then we roll to see his amateur career length, and then once we have his amateur career length, we roll that many times on the ACC table below. This is a 2d6 roll. You take the highest. So if you roll a 4 and a 3, you would read 43, and that would be a boxer B. So you would change his boxer rating to a B, right, based on his amateur career. And you're going to get at least 2 rolls on this chart if you had a short amateur career. If you had an average amateur career, you're going to get 3 rolls on this chart. If you had a long, solid career, maybe an amateur champion, he's going to get 4 rolls on this ACC chart. So this becomes almost the most important piece of your boxer's career, is the amateur career length, right? Anyway, and then we roll up, and once we get them, we have a base. And once we get those 3 rolls, this guy had 3 rolls on the table, and he didn't come out great. But again, you're not going to roll up champions every roll. So this particular fighter that's rolled up is a middleweight. He's a F slugger, F defense. He has no boxer rating, so he's an NA box. He cannot box. He can only slug. His power's a D. His chin's an F. His desire's an F. His endurance is 13, which is the highest you can get. And his TKO is pretty dang good, 9. John is not going to be a champion probably, but he will. You can make as many boxers as you want. But you would make this boxer, and he would go into your middleweights, and he can become part of the you can fight him to see what he can do, and he can become part of the pool of all the boxers in your middleweights. Okay, game flow, very very simple. The favored boxer, or your boxer, but usually it should be the favored boxer. So this guy, for instance, against middleweights that are pre-made in the game, he should always be the blue boxer, the blue corner. So the favored boxer is the red corner. This matters because the red corner always rolls first per minute, and they actually do their thing first per minute. So in other words, it is not a simultaneous action. So in the first minute of the first round, if I roll a knockout, that's it, fight over. Blue doesn't even get to roll, right? So red corner always gets to roll first, which means all of the effects upon the other boxer happen first. So being favored or red is important. Fight strategy, boxer versus slugger. So you're going to match up your boxers. So are they boxer versus boxer, boxer versus slugger? Are they slugger versus slugger? Once we know that I'm going to fight this boxer here cannot box. He can only be a slugger. So he's going to be a slugger versus whoever. So let's say he's fighting a boxer A. We're going to match up boxer slugger, right? We're going to come down here and we're going to look up, and then I give an example of what a fight card looks like as you tally points, tally the judge, and then tally the victory or whatever, right? TKO is described here. So pre-box, let's say my boxer is, again, this is going to be boxer versus slugger. So let's say he's an A and we're an F. He's going to be an A for the fight. So his bag rating, which you can see on the scorecard, he would be Joe Smith, bag rating A. And then my fighter, which is John Thomas, I think I actually am using John Thomas here. I am. So my examples here. But so my slugger is an F, and he is a defense grade. Let's say his defense is a D. So I'm going to be a D. My bag grade would be a D for this fight. Now, this has to be rechecked once a boxer hits his endurance. Once a boxer gets past his endurance number of rounds, he drops a grade in both. He drops a grade in everything. So that A boxer, once he hits his endurance, will become a B boxer. And his defense would become an F, right? So once a boxer fights past his endurance in rounds, all of his grades drop 1. That's the effect of endurance. Okay, just so you understand that. So boxer versus slugger both use the same chart. It doesn't make any difference whether your slugger's here and your boxer's defense is here, or boxer's here and slugger's. Boxer versus slugger, this is the chart used for both, right? Okay. Slugger versus slugger uses this chart, and boxer versus boxer uses this. And this gives you your bag grade. Your bag grade is what you use for all of these charts. So we go into this fight. I roll round 1. Ding, ding, ding. We're the blue corner. So we roll for red. Red is boxing on the A chart. I roll a 6. Bam. It's an event. We come down here and we look at the boxer's bag rating. He's an A. And I roll again. Let's say I roll a 5. KD chance. So now we're going to go down here and look at my power. Let's say my boxer, the red corner boxer that I've, a fictional fighter that I'm fighting against, let's say his power is a C. And Thompson's desire, right, his desire rating is an F. So we're looking at C versus F on a knockdown, right? So C versus F. So C power for the fictional fighter. My boxer is an F desire. This is his guts to get up when he's been dropped. I need to roll a if the red corner boxer, the fictional fighter, rolls a 4, 5, or 6, that's it. We go to the KO table. And let's say he rolls a 4. Now we're in trouble as we're moving on to the KO table. This is going to be power versus chin, or excuse me, roll versus chin. Well, Thompson, my fictional fighter's chin is an F. This guy's not very good, as I said in the write-up. You're gonna make more boxers that aren't very good than you're gonna make potential champions. So let's say I roll on F. Well, F won't matter. He's an F. He ain't getting up. So his desire, the only chance that he's not going to be knocked out is on the desire grade. Even with an F, he had a chance. 1, 2, 3, he was going to get up. But if he fails this, he's not getting up, right? So you can imagine you're basically checking to see if a knockdown becomes a knockout. But once we get to the knockout table, it's going to be pretty brutal for F-rated chins, right? All right, so there we go. And then their description of how the boxing action works. It's basically 9 points to remind you of the rules. And then, of course, we have our top 10 boxers in every class. So lightweights, starting with a 10th ranked guy down to the champion. Middleweight, starting with the 10th ranked guy down to the champion. And then heavyweight, starting with a 10th ranked guy down to the champion. These are all completely fictional. And you can then make your own lightweight and start with the 10th ranked guy if you just want to fight to see what he can do. Or you can make as many boxers as you want and just add them to this pool of boxers. So there you have it, folks. Finally, after all of these years, I've been able to come up with the system I wanted for a boxing time boxing game. I had hoped to one day do this, but I'd hoped it would have been nice to have had this done before I made the boxing time. I mean, before I made the Time Sports book. This would have fit beautifully in the new Time Sports book. So maybe when I do Time Sports Volume 2, this will be added to the Time Sports series of book in that book. Again, I would love to have, when you purchase a book, you could have 5, 6, 7 sports in one book. This would fit beautifully in that. It wouldn't change the price of the book. We're only adding 13 pages to the book. So we'll look for that. At some point, I will update the Time Sports volume and add this game to that book. However, there's a lot of playtime to be enjoyed here first before, and as many of you know, I usually give away very often. I will make available free what I do and what I design. And then over time, as I play and enjoy my games, I'll tweak them and they'll become versions 2. So there's a chance in the next few months that this will be revised and updated and further evolves into the thing I want to put in a book. But there you have it, another boxing game. This is a minute by minute game. So unlike big country boxing, it's 1 roll per round. Bam, you just roll to see who wins the round. We move on to the next round. So it's instant result, almost round by round result. This is minute by minute result. So the red boxer goes in the first minute. He didn't score any points, but neither did John Thomas. In minute 2, he scored 2 points. Thomas didn't score, and in the 3rd minute, he scored 3. So he scored total for the round 5 power punch points. And again, Thomas was completely ineffectual in the first round. So therefore, Smith wins that round 10-9. Round 2, we got a 2-point first minute, 2-point first minute. So we had a little slugfest in the first minute of round 2. So John Thomas was fighting back. Neither boxer scored any good punch points in the 2nd minute. In the 3rd minute, of course, Smith scores 2. And again, Thomas fails to be effective, and it's going to be 4 punch points to 2 punch points. Therefore, Smith wins round 2, 10-9. And the third round, we had a big one. This is big, and I'll explain why this is big. So he gets 3 in the first minute, none. 3 in the second minute to none, and 0 in the third minute to none. But 6 punch points is an automatic TKO point against Thomas. So he's going to win the round 10-9, but he's accumulated a TKO point. Now the one thing Thomas has is TKO points, so it'd be difficult to TKO Thomas unless you can score a cut, a knockdown, and punch points. That could be 3 in one round. You could have 3 TKO points in one round. So it's conceivable that a guy like Thomas can be TKO'd, but it's not gonna be the easiest way to beat Thomas. You're gonna beat him, but TKO won't be the easiest way to do it, right? And then in round 4, this is only a 4-round middleweight bout, and we end up with 3 points. So he gets 5 power points to 1. But again, 5 doesn't score a TKO or anything. However, he does win the round again. So he ends up winning this unanimous decision, 40-36. Smith wins. And Thomas's debut for a fighter, as you can see, is not very good. There you have it. So this would be this guy will be one of those journeyman guys, sparring partners, journeyman. He's never going to be much of a threat with these grades. And the game is designed when you create them that you're going to have when you make boxers pretty wild range of ratings, and it's designed to be that way. As again, it's the mix match of how these boxers are built to become interesting matchups when you start playing the game. So there you have it. So again, you do your pre-matchup, boxer versus boxer. It's going to be boxer's grade versus the opponent's defense grade to get their bag grade. The bag grade is what you use in the fight for all of the charts here, right? And then 1 roll per minute. If a boxer's knocked down, for instance, let's say that in round 3, in the first minute, Joe Smith knocked down Thomas, but he managed with his desire to get up before he hit the KO table, he would not get a roll in the first minute. So when you get knocked down in a minute, you do not get your next minute roll. So, for instance, if blue knocks down red, in the second minute, red would not get his third minute roll, right? So you'll lose your minute roll. So getting knocked down also triggers basically an effect that you're now covering up and you're trying to stay alive. You're trying to stay alive for a full minute, backing away, playing defensively. Maybe you can't defend yourself, or maybe you're not really throwing punches. You're trying to survive for a minute. So a knockdown means the opponent loses their next minute's roll, right? So you're just rolling 3 times per round for each. So minute 1, minute 1, minute 2, minute 2, minute 3, minute 3, and there you have it. So it's still abstract, but you are going to get a punch by punch, kind of round by round, minute by minute fighting, and there you have it. That is Boxing Time. It'll fit beautifully into the time series of sports games, which are my favorite games of mine. I like my Big Country Engine a lot, except the Boxing Time games still simulate quarters or drives or innings or series or parts of races and minutes of rounds. So the time games are still abstract, fast, simple, fun, but allow you to get some details. And so my time series of games are my favorite engine of my own making. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.